What's up, Facebook? And we are recording. We are live. Is this the first Friday of? Yeah, no, I guess we did Friday last week. So second Friday of 2020, Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind coming live for you guys. I'm Dave Savage. I am in Houston, Texas today. I just helped kick off Mortgage Coach for a new partner of ours, Envoy Mortgage. So I'm coming to you remote, and I do think that's going to be a theme this year. It just seems like I'm speaking more than ever. Mortgage Coach is trending, which I'm super pumped about. I've got Michele Town as my wing woman for today's call. What's up, Michele?
Happy Friday, everybody. Glad to be here, and second Friday of 2020. Love it.
Right on. Yeah, we had Renee Rodriguez going through, I think we called it sales math script, but in my mind, it's like the art and science of scripting, the art and science of getting someone on the phone and having a compelling conversation with them. What did you think about that call last week, Michele?
I loved it. I took a lot of good notes. Actually, we did some implementation on some of the script that he did. I watched, which is why I have my sister on today. We kind of took a little bit of what he did, added it into our scripts, and she had some great success this week. So it was very, very, very valuable. So if you haven't seen it, you guys, it's worth the 45, 50 minutes of your life. You'll probably grab 1 or 2 deals more a month minimum just from that script.
Yeah, it was really good. It just, there's so much of the soft skills of calling realtors, connecting with realtors that he covered. And even, I loved it that he it started within, it started with not what are you going to say, it's how do you think and what are some of your beliefs, and, and he just did a lot of things that will really help you guys callous your mind, callous your heart to make the calls you need to do to realtors. And so that was when Michele and I were brainstorming, what are the topics for today? I came to that conversation with her via text saying, hey, I want to talk about some of the learnings from 2019, which is a topic today. And she's like, hey, let's talk about, getting out there and making more calls. How do you want to frame that just as a topic? How would you frame it, Michele, what you want to talk about?
So more so, we're starting a new year. We've all come off, the last half of the year, let's face it, especially when the holidays come in, we get very sedentary and let things coast out through the year. So it's just, walking through that fear of picking up that phone again. And, I'm a seasoned professional and I still have that fear every single time. And something Darren Hardy said on Monday, which made me just laugh hysterically, because I feel that sometimes when I am going through what I'm going through, he just all of a sudden has a video that comes up about it, and it's the self-doubt, oh my gosh, I just had this killer year, how am I ever going to do it again? And part of that is prospecting and getting the phone. And one of the other things is partnering with somebody who is maybe younger in the growth pattern and has a little bit more gumption to want to make those calls. It kind of, you feed off each other, and I love it.
Cool. So if you have other topics or questions for myself or Michele, put them down below. Jeremy Forcier, I am interviewing him this Tuesday, and we're going to do a full 1 hour with Jeremy going through his 2020 success playbook and his scripts. We also have Melissa, Michele's sister, on today's call. I think when she came back, she was just pumped because she's working with her sister more. So we're going to have a conversation with Michele and her sister. What's up, Melissa?
Good morning, Dave. I was in the middle of my lead calls this morning, so forgive me if I'm anxious about being on the call.
No, it's all good. Thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to hearing the conversation that you and Michele are going to have in a few minutes. So welcome. All right, guys. So let's do a little bit of a review and talk about some learnings from last year. And Michele, if you could, jump in at any time, I don't want this just to be me talking to myself. And community, please, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Engage with us. If you're watching this live in our Facebook group, best way to engage is to either give us a like and, more importantly, comment. whether that's a question or a takeaway. We will be looking at every one of those comments, and we will try to bring those into the live conversation. And if you're watching the recording, we'll answer your questions. If you're watching this in Zoom, you can comment in Zoom and you'll get answered. So first and foremost, I want to start off with our YouTube channel. I want to give a shout out on this call to Rise and Shred for showcasing my LinkedIn article where we talked about the top 10 interviews in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel for 2019. So Josh Pitt, thank you, brother. I like the way you framed it. What do loan officers watch on YouTube? I thought that was a cool way to start. Now, Michelle, what went through your mind when you saw that headline?
You do not want to know what I watch on YouTube, and then I go for the strange things on YouTube. I remember I'm a sci-fi chick, so anything that has to do with aliens, I'm looking at it. So, but what do you watch on LOs on YouTube? I mean, I've watched several videos. I watch Tim Brahim on YouTube. I watch, you know, a lot of times when I'm searching on how do I want to do some marketing, this is how I do my research. I Facebook stalk, I Google stalk, I YouTube stalk, and I listen to what's out there, and then I just turn it in and make it my own. So I hope you're using YouTube and all the social media that's available to us. Yeah,
no doubt. So I did want to also ask Mortgage Coach community, do you subscribe to Rise and Shred? I do. It's an awesome daily newsletter. You know, some things I like about it is you can just tell that someone loves this newsletter, that loves this brand. You know, there's just like, you go to restaurants and you're like, you know what, I like this restaurant because I know someone's in love with it. And I think that's first and foremost, it comes out that the human being behind this is really in love with what they're doing. He's always got good content. You know, I like it that it's not too much. You know, he usually covers, you know, I don't know, 4 articles. It's got a little humor here coming from Sales Boomerang, our partners at Sales Boomerang. Anybody using Sales Boomerang, we have a Mortgage Coach integration coming live in a couple weeks. Well, within a month, so I don't put too much pressure on my dev team. Check it out, but I like that. Of course, he has advertising. Guy's got to make a living. I respect, got no problem. You know, he's got things in content that is not only valuable to you as a loan officer, that also helps you think about consumer direct marketing and content. Got a video, and then of course, this is my all-time favorite article in Rise and Shred. Hopefully we'll see more Mortgage Coach stuff in here, but you know, what do loan officers watch on YouTube? So what I wanted to say about this is the reason I create so much content is because I believe that the industry needs to change how we think, what our habits are, what our beliefs are. And most loan officers, whether they will admit to it or not, they're transaction oriented. And I would just say, if you're giving a fee worksheet, which, you know, has rates, payment, and closing costs, those are transactional details. You may say you're a trusted advisor, you're delivering advice, but those are transactional details. And so to me, advice is the Mortgage Coach Advice Star, where we're showing the cost over time, and we're showing financial strategies like prepaying your mortgage to help the family make a better decision and to show the family that you really care about them. And so I figured out a long time ago, the best way to make change is top producers, people like Michelle Town, people like Jeremy Forcier. Pretty much everybody that I interview is someone that has the level of success that other loan officers aspire to have, and they see them as a leader. And then, you know, they get to hear their story, and then they get to hear their strategies, and then they even get some scripts and some tactics. And so, you know, even my own internal team is like, Dave, I think we're doing too much. Like, do you need to create that many? And here's the thing is, I think you need to do a lot, because when I interviewed Dan Keller from Seattle, that does not connect and relate to someone in Alabama, in Montana. You know, so I think you need to interview a lot of different people at a lot of different production levels in a lot of different markets with a lot of different ways of doing business. So that is my why. And then the hope I have, and I'm seeing more and more success of this, is that if you are like me, you believe the same thing I believe, and you think that loan officers need to become better advisors, one, you're going to get personal development from this. So hey, you could do a lot of things on YouTube, you could do a lot of things on Netflix, but the hope is that you're going to use these videos to personally grow and develop yourself and become the best mortgage professional you can be. And then if you're a branch manager or you're a regional leader, I'm making this to help you, so that you have inspirational content that you can share with your loan officers. Michele, anything you want to say to that, or any questions you have before we just kind of talk about a few of these top 10 videos from last year?
No, I do. Thank you for telling me about the Rise and Shred. I actually I was multitasking and adding myself to the list while you were speaking. But there is so much content in your website, Dave, and there's so much data that is shared by these top supporters, including me and including Jeremy and including everybody else. And it's not just the top supporters that are giving us information. It's some of the people who are coming into the market as well. But use these tools to help you build your own playbook, right? And if you don't, I think one of the big things that we talked about last year, we focused a lot on, and we always focus at the beginning of the year, is defining your why, right? We have to understand our why so that we can move forward to create the business around it. And there's a great worksheet on there. If you can't find it, look at it again and go back to the content, because there's so much information. And I hope you guys do it. It's just, this is free. This wasn't available when I started mortgaging, 30 years ago. We didn't have this. It was word of mouth. So please use what's available here. Yeah,
so what Michele's talking about, I'll go back to the Mortgage Coach page, and if you go, in the group, if you go into files, there's a Mortgage Coach Why worksheet. So check that out. So going back to this, I want to start with the Shayla Gifford interview, and a few things I want to shout out on this is it's just a fantastic piece of content where you have, like, if there was a Mortgage Hall of Fame, Shayla would be in the Mortgage Hall of Fame. She's a market share leader for Guild in the Lake Tahoe, Reno area. But it's not only a good interview to get some ideas on improving your perfect loan process, but Shayla did a really good job of growing Mortgage Coach in her, for the people that she leads. And she did it because she would once a month take one of our interviews, Jeremy Forcier, she recently shared, but she would take an interview that she thought was really compelling, and then she would forward it to her team. And she wouldn't just forward it and say, hey guys, watch this interview, it's really cool. She would forward it and say, something from the heart, why she was sharing it. She would actually call out, like, hey, at 7 minutes and 17 seconds, don't miss blank. She just took, my guess is she didn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes, other than the time it took her to watch it, to delegate it to her team and to share it with some true passion. She wasn't doing it for me. She wasn't doing it for her. She was doing it for her team. And so that would be, one, great interview, and two, be a leader. Share these with your team in a way that's compelling. Scriptapalooza came in second. And I do think in 2020, Todd and I are doing the planning for Scriptapalooza. It will probably be the number one interview of 2020. I think it will be really hard for any one person to beat our 2020 Scriptapalooza. We're going to have so many rock stars on this call. Comment down below if there's someone you want to make sure we have on Scriptapalooza 2020. Comment down below. If you want to be considered to be one of the rock star mortgage professionals that we interview in Scriptapalooza, let me know. I want to do it. And here's my idea. We know your production. We can look that up on the back end. We do like to hear how you're doing, but let us know what your idea is. What's the script you want to share? Let us know in comments down below. Michele, anything you want to mention on that one before we go off of it?
No, that is probably, I'm surprised it's not the most number one watched one. I mean, the scripts that are in here, and everybody knows I don't script, like I don't read from a script, but the ideas that come from the Scriptapalooza is like incredible. So I think maybe I'll share it a lot more, because it is, you got to watch it. And go back to the year before as well. There were some there's some interesting things. And remember, we're a completely evolving community. So what worked last year may not work this year, or it may work for somebody and not the other. So there's so many great ideas. So hope you watch it.
Yeah, and the one from 2018 was the #1 interview. And this one performed really well. It's just that Shayla crushed it. And then Michele, I've already got an idea for you. You will definitely be one of the leaders. And I would love for you to talk about non-QM loans, how you are talking to families about, a non-QM opportunity, and also how you're talking to realtors to position yourself as someone, you're not necessarily saying non-QM, but how you're doing that. So just be ready to get the invite for that, Michele. Hope you're game.
That.
So #3, and I'm just going to talk about the first 5, and then, we're going to get into topics. But I felt that these were so important that I wanted to make it a topic in this call. #3 from Amber Kovark, hyper local mortgage pro in the digital world. So, I mean, she's meeting with a lot of her clients in person. And I think that's why this resonated so much for people, is she's having extraordinary success, but she's got this really great high-tech, high-touch presentation. And, it was an awesome interview. If you're meeting with clients, check it out. If you want to meet with more of your clients in person, check it out. And then, of course, Jay Force, the legend, Jeremy Forcier, Scripts with Jeremy was the #4. Jeremy, well, I might go through a few more just because Jeremy was also #5. How to convert more realtor relationships with Dan Keller and Jeremy. So I was traveling. Dan Keller took over the call for me that day, and him and Jeremy just went after it. And by the way, here's something that's super cool, is not only are these getting a lot of views, look at this, it was shared 77 times. This one was shared 93 times, 68 times, 105, 136. So that's the other thing I want to push you guys to do is, consume the content. More importantly than that, take action on the content. And then secondarily to that, if you're a manager or a leader, thoughtfully, intentionally share it with your team, and even do a sales meeting around it. I'm actually going to go through all 10. I can't help it. #6 was Denise Donahue. I interviewed Denise multiple times. If you want to get more first-time homebuyers out of Facebook, if you want to get more first-time homebuyers out of Instagram, if you want to get more first-time homebuyers out of your database, then you should just study. You should stalk Denise Donahue. She's killing it. She's a grandmaster mortgage coach. She's done, I think, 1,700 total cost analysis, and she's creating all types of content, using story brand principles. Just no one's doing it better than her. So check it out. Donald Miller, to me, this was the most important interview I did in 2019. And it was just important because it had that message, always be the guide, don't be the hero, which I just think is a reminder that we all need, like, daily. It's so easy to just I'm the hero, I'm the expert. But no, our job is to be the guide to make our client the hero. And so I think it's an important message. I think his book, to go from being a brown belt in mortgage coach to being a black belt means that you have to mentor and lead other people. I mean, let's face it, the way you get great at something is not just learning to do it yourself. That's good. That's level, level 3. But when you can teach it and you can mentor and you can create other people, that's how you get great. And so this is super important interview. Check it out. The 5 questions to ask every realtor. This is all time. The first time I did this interview with Jeremy, I think it's the all-time most watched interview I've ever done. So what can I say? Check it out. #9, how to 4X your past customer loans. And that's a theme I'm hearing over and over and over. And I didn't just learn it last year, but I think it's all clear. It's more clear than ever that if you want to optimize your success and you want this decade to be better than the last decade, you need to love your past customer database. And you need to do more than love on it. You need to get business from it. You need to get 7 to 10% of your past customers to do a loan with you every year. And while he's doing that, he's hitting those metrics. Check out this interview. Number 10, the art and science of personal connection with Josh Meadow. We got one of the best ideas out of 2020 out of this, where Josh is talking about, hey, how I'm having a phone call with someone, I'm personally connecting, and then I'm sending a text video, so where I'm giving them direction on how to fill out my online app, how to connect with me, and then I'm using Mortgage Coach, and I put a video on it. So just the art and science of personal connection, huge, important video. And then I got to just hit this one, and then Michelle, I'm going to bring it to you, and then we'll bring your sister in. The new loan officer roadmap with Casey Cunningham, I just had to shine a light on it because it was actually the most viewed interview in the Mortgage Coach channel of 2019. It just didn't win top 10 for 2019 because I recorded it the year before. But I thought that was interesting that, this was the number one most viewed, most shared, 177 shares, almost 400 likes. So what does this mean? New loan officers are coming into the mortgage space. They're hungry for information. They're using YouTube to learn. By the way, they're also crushing it with Mortgage Coach. So anyways, guys, hopefully you got a few takeaways from what I just said. I know I gave you like a ridiculous amount of homework, but some of you are tuned in and you've already watched all these videos. So it's not that you need to rewatch it. You just need to make sure you're implementing what you're watching. Michelle, anything you want to add?
I do. And I'm glad you brought the Casey Cunningham. I had the honor of hearing her speak. And she is, first of all, she's an incredible speaker. But she's so true. And I actually got to meet her and have drinks with her after the presentation. And she is as charismatic on stage as she is in person. And if you ever feel, and this is what I do with that video, if I ever feel like I'm down in the dumps, don't feel like I'm, should be doing this business, we all question ourselves. You have that one bad day where you just want to quit. Watch that video and you won't want to quit because she just, there's something about her that just re-energizes you and makes you want to go search for more. So that's one of my favorites. And Jeremy Forcier truly has a great last name. He is a force to be reckoned with. His non-negotiables still stay on, they're on my board. I just remind myself of that. And we're actually having our team retreat here in 3 weeks. And, we're going to redefine our team, our non-negotiables for our team again. So he's incredible. And Dan Keller and everybody on there is just incredible. So watch them.
So a couple things, guys. Jeremy just texted me. He'll be here within a few minutes. Todd Bookspan and I are hosting a site visit with Jeremy in February. We're going to talk about that more on Tuesday. But we call him Jay Force. I mean, that is his nickname for a lot of his friends because he is a force to be reckoned with. So I'm going to cover just a couple more things just because we know we got Jeremy coming, and then we'll bring your sister in. So the other thing I wanted to mention on going to our Facebook group now is we are very close to launching gamification within the Mortgage Coach advice engine. So you'll know what belt you are soon. It will just pop up and you'll have different badges based off of different things that you've accomplished in Mortgage Coach. And really our goal there is to make Mortgage Coach, one, more fun, and two, more addictive. We want you guys to use our product and be addicted to the concept of going from, stories around rates to stories around advice, and so we think the best way to do that is to really gamify Mortgage Coach. And so stay tuned for that. We had look at this, 165 people commented on this post. So first of all, like literally huge applause for everybody and the success you guys had. You just killed 2019. I also want to apply to anybody that, there were so many big, iconic producers that posted their numbers. And I don't care what your numbers were. You know, you're in the mortgage business. This is a great profession. You know, great job to folks that, you know, didn't close over 100, but you shared your numbers and you shared your goals. We want you to use this group as inspiration, and we also want you to use this group for accountability. So dive in. You know, if you only closed 3 loans, you know, last year, but you're going to close more this year, share what you did, share what you're going to do, and use us as an accountability partner. Now, I got to shine a light on this, and this is required. Like, Michelle, I don't know if you've watched this video yet. I will tell you, you have to watch this. Keith Collins completely raised the bar on creating content that's consumer-facing. You know, this is for families and homeowners, and, you know, making the case for homeownership, and then using Mortgage Coach as a character in the story. So, Keith Collins, dude, you're the man. I think if we went through all the different videos that we've seen, when it comes to being like the category of edited videos, I think you might have won. I think if it came to unedited consumer direct videos, Denise Donahue would probably win. But guys, keep it going. And then Sozi, we interviewed him this Tuesday. I didn't do it, but Todd Bookspan did. You know, Sozi, you are a complete inspiration. And this might have been the best video I've ever seen until Keith came along. So sorry, man. I bet your next one beats Keith. But guys, this is just a spectacular example of Mortgage Coach loan officers who have clearly read Story Brand by Donald Miller, who are telling stories about advice, telling stories about how they are different than your average fee worksheet loan officer. So if you did not watch these, I'm telling you right now, they're a couple minutes each. You're blowing it if you don't. And more importantly, if you don't take these, get inspired by them, and then start creating your own story branded videos, you're just leaving loans on the table. Michelle, anything you want to add to that?
I love it. I have to go and watch those videos. I definitely, you did call me out. I did not get to see his video, and I'm gonna watch a lot of them. I wish I had a little bit more sophistication, and that's my holdback on doing some consumer direct videos. But again, that's an excuse. So I need to get over that and just do it.
All good. You'll get there. Well, let's do this. Let's kick things off with your sister and have the conversation you want to have. When Jeremy comes in, we'll kind of pause and we'll reboot. So let's keep going.
Okay, fantastic. Well, hi everybody. Again, thank you it's an honor to be here, and I'm so pleased to have my sister who joined my team a little over a year ago, and she's just bringing great value, as well as being my sister, and you know, lots of trust and love there. Melissa, welcome. And
thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. So one of the things that, you know, at the beginning of the year, you always go through that self-doubt of, okay, you just created this, you know, killer year. The high is down now, and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. You know, I hear a lot from a lot of my friends and coworkers. I'm so tired. And you know, how do we re-energize that? And so, you know, Melissa really took to heart the Win by Noon, and also took to heart on, you know, lead generation and time blocking. We talk about that over and over and over and over again. So she posted something, and I actually shared it on Facebook. I just shared kind of just a snapshot of the link of, if you're not calling your leads, or you're afraid to call your leads, you know, that's the number one thing. What's the fear of calling your leads? That would be the question that I would pose to Melissa. What was the number one fear of calling those leads at the beginning last year?
I think it was the connection that you had with the clients, and that me not having any real trust or any real prior conversation with them. And so what I had to look for was, my angle was, before I even got on the phone, I had to review all the client notes that we had. And then I had to say, okay, what would I ask the question of this client when I would call them in? And it can't be the same question every time, because every client has a unique experience with our group. Now, if it was a cold Zillow lead call, I think, you know, obviously I looked at the purchase price and where they were calling from, but then I had to listen to that client and look for the hook of where we could get our angle in and our special uniqueness in for the town group.
Okay. And then did you, one of the things that, you know, it took me a long time to learn, you guys, and it took a lot of coaching, a lot of growth, a lot of mistakes, was being personal with the clients. I didn't want, I believed in my heart for so long that business was this and personal was this. And then over the last 4 years, I've been on that journey where I realized that they actually kind of intertwine a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that for you.
So, okay, so perfect story. Monday, I time blocked 9 to 11, actually 9 to 10:15 for lead calling. And I kept getting hung up on. And then I said, gosh darn it, I'm not going to end my day this way. So the next call I made, connected with somebody down in Colorado Springs, and I spent the next 20 minutes on the phone with her. On Wednesday, this is probably the most touching moment. I know you haven't heard the story yet, Michelle, is I'm doing my lead calls, and I get on the phone with a girl, and her name is Ashley. And I'm talking to her. I know she's already a first-time home buyer. She doesn't have a lot of money saved up, so I'm immediately pigeonholing her into a loan scenario. And I'm looking for the opportunities to ask her the different questions. And then I get to the part of the assets, and she says, my mom died when I was 18, and she left me $90,000 in the trust fund to purchase my home. And so I go, oh my gosh. And for those of you who don't know us, Michelle and I lost our mother at a very, very young age. So I think that it's those trust moments that you develop with your clients that make them want to work with you. And when you think about talking with somebody on a cold call, you're asking this person very personal information, and it's almost like they're being in with a doctor. So you have to look for those trust moments. And I think that making these cold calls, you can't just look at it as a number. You have to track your numbers, but these are also human beings on the phone that you're speaking with that have their own stories, that are going to share with you personal information that you have to take to heart, and you have to really want to work to help them get towards their first home or their second home or their refinance.
Okay. So did you get
that was real quick, Michelle. So first of all, that I got, that connected with me. Two things I want to do, because one, Jeremy just showed up. Jeremy, how long do you have before you have to jump? Jeremy, how much time do you have, brother?
I had to unmute myself. I apologize. I am good until 10. You guys can rock and roll.
Okay, so and I also wanted to insert for folks that didn't see. So Jeremy, we're going to bring you in a few more minutes. We're going to let this conversation play out. And thank you for making time. But for people that didn't watch the interview with Michelle Town a few weeks ago, I want to make sure you know a key data point, because I think it will just make what you're hearing, this conversation, matter even more. So Michelle, how much business did you close last year? How much volume in loans?
We helped 240 families at 136 million.
So they had an epic year, but the big number in the story here is how much of those loans were non-QM? Almost
60 million.
Guys, there's probably not another mortgage professional in America that did 60 million in non-QM loans. I mean, there might be. So you're talking to a team here where, Michelle and her sister are helping a lot of people in a lot of different situations get into homeownership that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to get into, and get into situations where, like we did a story in that call a few weeks ago where the family with bank statement with their tax returns qualified for like 500,000, and with the non-QM they qualified for 650, and they used the total cost analysis to show, like, don't worry about the rate and the payment. I mean, worry about the rate and the payment, but worry more about the wealth you're going to create with real estate. So I just want to make sure when you hear these two talk, they're like ninjas. They're creating transformational experiences for families. So Michelle, I'll let you guys keep going. I just wanted to make sure people that didn't see that call a couple of weeks ago, they know who you two are.
Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go as quick as I can because I want Jeremy to talk. I have Jeremy. Nice to see you again. So, Melissa, how many calls did you make last week?
Maybe 10, to be honest, maybe 10.
10 calls?
10 calls, yeah, 10 calls last week. But this week, I mean, when I really started working the program, this coming week, Monday I made 25, had 1 lead. Tuesday I made 14, had 3 leads, and I circled it as a reactive day, so I wasn't being proactive. Wednesday I had 28 calls, 3 leads, called that day proactive. Thursday I made 36 calls and had 8 leads. And so for this morning I had 4 calls and had 1 lead, and actually 2 leads this morning. So, and again,
yeah, 2 things I want to look at. She tracks it. She creates it as proactive.
Wait, here. Can you see?
Win by noon. Win by noon.
Right.
Exciting.
There you go.
It doesn't matter what you use. It doesn't matter how you track it. It's tracking it. I mean, if she's telling me, she goes, you should see my book from Thursday. It looks like chicken scratch. You can know my proactive days too, because my proactive days, I can't even read half my writing. So, but the bottom line is have a system, right? And you're going to have to define a system that works for you on calling those leads, whether that be a cold call lead from Zillow or a lead generation system that you buy or a realtor lead. There shouldn't be a lot of difference in how you treat them as far as how you do your follow-up. So I posted something online. If you don't have a system already, this is like a general basics outline that you can change and do whatever. I do not do all of this that I just posted. I don't call 5 times on that client in that first week. I call 3 times in the first week. I just don't have, it depends on how much bandwidth you have and what's going on that day. If you've got a huge support staff that can make calls, call them 5 times, call them 7 times. If the conversion book, Code to Conversion, I think it is, I can't remember the conversion book.
Conversion Code by Smith, Chris Smith.
Yeah.
Which I've also interviewed him a few times. Check it out.
Yeah, that's a great book. I believe he uses 7 calls as his magic. So find what your magic number is, find what works for your team, and know that this is a guideline. So, and if you're a loan officer, you know what I'm about to say. A guideline is just a template. It just tells me where I'm supposed to go, but any good loan officer is going to push those guidelines a little bit or research a little bit more. You're going to do some metrics on what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You're going to sit there and say, gosh, my Monday calls to my realtors at 9 o'clock, nobody answers. Well, they're exhausted from the weekend. I don't do my realtor calls on Mondays anymore. I do them on Tuesdays when they're more re-energized. So, and that took me 2 years to figure out. Don't be afraid to get hung up on. Who cares? Does that person have any meaning in your life if they hang up on you? No. And your past clients, my favorite line from last year was, who? Like when I called and said, hi, this is Michelle from the Town Group at United American. She'd go, who? And I go, ouch. That was my response. I haven't been doing my job. We created, started using a lot more social media platforms where we didn't overwhelm our clients, but stayed in touch. I don't get who anymore because I'm on top of them. I'm doing my annual reviews. I'm doing my 6-month reviews. I'm constantly looking for a way to help our clients. And I don't look at it as me trying to get money from them. I look at it as me trying to help, and that's the mindset change. So I just wanted to, again, we're at the first year. This is really the first true week of work, and we're ending it right now. Some people are going to feel really energized. Some people are going to feel really drained. I'm on the energy level of, hey, let's keep going. So Melissa, thank you very much for sharing what you've done, and she's gonna kill it. I mean, she's already going to kill it, but she's going to kill it because she's working a program.
Great job, Melissa. And go ahead, Melissa.
No, and if I can just, I had Win by Noon last year, and I didn't quite understand how to do it. And then when I ordered my new book for 2020, I got the Loan Officer Launch Edition, and it had a lot more detail in there. And I really took, the detail that he provided. And that's, I think, was the start for my journey for this year, was understanding how Win by Noon was supposed to work. So I just wanted to add that in there. Is if you don't have the launch edition, that has a lot more detail than the 2020 book that we all get. So.
Awesome. And if you have any questions about that, guys, you could go to the Win by Noon Facebook group or the Win by Noon website. So Melissa, stay on. You know, this is a great conversation you and your sister were having. Super cool. Let's bring in Jeremy. So as I mentioned to everyone, guys, we're going to be doing a full 1-hour interview with Jeremy this Tuesday at 9 o'clock, going through his 2020 playbooks for success. What's up, big dog? J-Force.
Hello, everyone.
Miss you, bro. Did you have a good holiday?
I had a great holiday. Yeah, I am like super fired up and recharged, and it's been an awesome way to start the new year. And I'm stoked. 2020 is going to be way bigger than 2019.
So I loved your comment in the post on how many loans did you close, and I think you said 299, and your goal for 2020 was one more, 300. Was that a metaphor? Was that a metaphor for the movie 300, or is there a bigger story around that?
It was not a metaphor for the movie 300, although I do love that whole story and movie. But it is a metaphor for my overall theme in general of progress. Like, all I'm looking to do is be 1% better, one loan better, one conversation better, one better question asked, one better review, one more referral. Like, I'm one is my number for 2020, because I think that if I can increase everything by one, like think about this. I don't know why, and by the way, I'm a hypocrite saying this, okay? So this is self-critical statement, is when I look back at all my leads I got in my conversion and from last year, which I do at the end of the year every year, and I look at how many loans I closed, 299, okay? I don't know why all of us in the industry can't get at least one deal referral from our clients we closed in the last year. So I should, in theory, have 299 closings in the bag. But the reason is because I don't do a good enough job of asking, of setting the expectation of getting one more, being 1% better, one question away from getting another referral. So my number is 1 for the year 2020, and I think that it's going to cause explosive growth. And I mean, I'm freaking pumped, man.
I love that, dude. I knew you were going to bring the money. How are you going to up that in our call on Tuesday? So that's super powerful.
I'm not going to give it
Michele,
all away. I'm not going to give it all away right now, but I want to.
All right.
It's hard. I feel like a caged animal right now.
Well, think about it. Not only one more referral from all the people you did a loan with, think about a referral while people are in process, and then think about all the referrals you have in your past customer database. I mean, tell me if you think I'm right on this, and Michele, I want you to answer it too. I think, like so many mortgage animals like you're a hunter. You love to hunt, hunt. And farming, you can probably make more money farming at this point in your career between the size of your past customer database, but you're just so wired to hunt. And it's like, oh, this is a new person that doesn't know me and doesn't trust me. And yes. And calling up that, baller leader in the community that probably could give you 3 referrals. It'd probably be a really friendly conversation. You almost want to go hunt more than you want to go farm. First of all, do you agree with that? And is there a psychology that you see around that?
I don't know if I agree or disagree. I agree with the fact that I love to hunt, okay? And I think that we all get really busy, which is like a 4-letter word. I hate that word because busy means out of control. It means I'm not in control of what I'm doing purposefully. And I just can't stand that. And I think about it a lot. But yes, I definitely love to hunt, but you can hunt, you can brainwash yourself, which I love to do for myself, to realize that farming is hunting. Think about it. Like farming is hunting. You plant seeds, you watch it grow, and then you cut it down, you kill it. That's just the way it is. You're either killing meat when you're hunting or you're killing a vegetable. They're both alive. So they're both forms of hunting. I just think that I know that I personally am a flawed human being, and I get really distracted sometimes with just what I have going on and the momentum. So I think that rather than I can do even more if I just focused on farming. I think I can just do more by farming and hunting. It's the same thing. It's just, where are you focusing your time? Where are you carving out that energy? And are you using the right bait to get what you want from the different aspects of your business? Like, a realtor hunting is extremely different than past client or current client farming. And so I got really, really dialed in with different lists over the 3-week break or slower time of like, how am I going to have a strategy that's different, which I'm not good at, for the record, at all. I'm good at like one strategy, and that's basically like, I'm going to be fun, I'm going to be in your face, I'm going to say I want your business, and I'm going to do a lot of loans. That's my typical strategy. And that doesn't work for all the different types of pillars of business that we have. So I'm really focused this year on making sure I'm using the right lure or the right message for all the different pillars that I have, so that I can just incrementally increase through deepening relationships.
Well, I know one question I'm going to ask you on Tuesday is, let's go through all those. Let's talk about what are some of the right messages, because it sounds like you're getting ready to go hunting and you're all geared up, and I know it's going to be intentional because that's the way you play. And so let's make sure we unpack that. But you said something I love, is you said, like, we need to change how we think. If it's not hunting and farming, it's hunting and it's hunting. And I really think that's the trick, is for everybody on this call that is not optimizing your past customer database and you're not optimizing your current client database, is we just need to quit calling it farming. It's not farming, it's hunting. Yeah. And we need to start thinking of lead scoring. And if someone doesn't know you, doesn't trust you, you know, that's a lead score of 3. If you've done 5-star service for someone, you've given them a total cost analysis, they know you're better and that you roll, that's a lead score of a 7. So now it just comes down to, guys, call your highest lead score prospects. Fill your day. And if it's a realtor that's giving you 5 transactions in a year, that's a lead score of 9. If it's a realtor that's giving you 20 transactions a year, that's a lead score of like 10 is the cap, but that's an 11. Right. You know, and it's just like, really start making sure that you're filling your time as a mortgage pro. Like, hey, I've got this database. Who are my highest lead score prospects? That's where I'm spending my time. So Jeremy, anything you want to add to that before we get Michele in here?
No, I 100% agree. I just can't believe it. Was it Michele that did 60 million in non-QM?
Yeah.
Dude, great job. Bravo. I mean, you did 4x what I did in non-QM. Like, killed it. I want to sidebar. Maybe I can have a call with you and see what you're doing with that.
Love it. Love it.
No, we got to record that. And by the way, we could, Michele, add on, and then let's do 15 minutes of just you two talking about how to do more QM.
Yeah.
Well, first I wanted to say, Jeremy, I'm sorry, I didn't get to do the dinner with Cindy and have some more one-on-one time with you. But something you said to me which resonated is your energy levels. So when we time block, and this took me a while. So time blocking was such a foreign concept to me until I met Darren Hardy. And I didn't understand what time blocking was. And it took me a long time to figure out where my high energy levels are, or to retrain my body to have those high energy levels. So make sure when you're doing that time blocking for prospecting or hunting or whatever you're going to be doing, your energy level has to be at your highest at that point, because you don't want to go in that dragon, because they're going to feel it, hear it. You might as well cut it out for that day and do a double day the next day, because it's just not going to be productive. I don't know, Jeremy, do you agree with that?
You are bullseye, spot on, 100%. So there's a great book, by the way, by Daniel Pink called When, W-H-E-N, like when we optimally do things, and everyone's a little different, like throughout the day, which is what you're talking about. It blew my mind. And I do believe in that philosophy, and I do it. So I have a rule that I can move things in my calendar, but I can never replace them. So that's what you're talking about. So if I have a time block, I'll give you a great example. So this little stupid tracker form thing I use that I created, just to make sure I do what I'm supposed to do on a daily basis, right? On Mondays, realtor calls. Well, I was supposed to call 40, I did 21. So I can't replace that. I still am 19 short, but I have to move it to, because I was low energy when I was done with 21, right? So I had to find a time where I could move that other time block into. So I think that it's just getting used to the fact that time blocking to me used to never work because I just felt like I failed all the time because I wasn't very good at it, but it was because I said, I'm going to do it right here, no matter what. And then when I didn't do it, I never moved it to a different time. And so I just didn't complete the task fully. So we all, in my whole team, we all have this rule now of like, hey, you can move, but you can't replace, right? You can move an activity, but you can't replace it. So I think that you're 1,000% spot on there, Michele.
Love it. Love it. But I love that. That's why I circled that, because I do find that there are times where, I mean, granted, I'm pretty regimented just like you are, but there are times I can't, you guys, I'm normal. There are times I can't pick up a phone because I know that my mind is I'm going to turn off the client. I'm going to lose that deal. And so to me, it's better not to call, or I'll send a text saying, hey, let's set some time next week for something. Or if I have a client that's going to drain a lot of time out of me, I won't do that during the middle of the day. I'm pretty 4 to 8. I know I have a weird schedule. 4 to 8 is my intake call time. My middle of the day is my day because I am high energy at night. I am very productive and very animated at night. I am not a morning person. Ask anybody that knows me. Until I've had 2 Red Bulls, a cigarette, and walked around about 2 miles, I'm not awake yet. So it's just not me. So I've been trying so much to make myself that win by noon morning person. It's fighting my natural nature. So I just changed it. I adjusted. My noon is 11 to 1, not 8 to 10, because I'm not high energy.
I love it. Can I add something, Michele and Dave, to what you just said, Michele? I don't want anyone to miss that's on this or that's watching this recording the golden nugget. The golden nugget, okay, that she just shared with you, she didn't use these words, but this is what she just taught you, was that you need to learn how to create space for yourself and still be in control with the client. Okay, you need to learn how to create. I am also a master of that. Michele is obviously a master of that because she just said exactly what she does. I do the same thing. When I know I don't want to talk to a client just like Michele, because we're all normal, messed up people, I will do the same exact thing that Michele outlined, okay? I will send a text or an email, or I will slide dial and say, hey, let's chat at 4:30 p.m. I have it in my calendar. I will call you then, right? Because you're taking control, you're making the appointment, and you're still connecting with the person. And then you're going to have a much more productive call because you know you have to be prepared at that time. So she just gave you an unbelievably amazing golden nugget that I don't want you to miss, because it is one of the secrets for me. And when I say secret, just like special sauce things that makes me way more productive, is learning how to create space without being offensive, still making contact, and being in control. So excellent job of explaining that.
Or Jeremy, or I call my sister and say, hey, you can take this lead at 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, you could always do that too if you have a partner or teammate, that's for sure.
So guys, we've only got about 6 more minutes of this conversation. I want to ask you both a question, and maybe you have time to answer it. Maybe you can just give some insight. But I mean, hearing you both talk, I mean, you're both doing just incredible production. You're working super hard, super smart. I mean, where does that come from? Like, what powers that energy? And why don't we start with you, Jeremy? Just, for anyone that's listening to this, that's, struggling, I remember interviewing you one time, Jeremy, and I was asking you, like, what's your most valuable, and I think I was trying to get you to say mortgage coach or your CRM, like, what's your most valuable tool? And I thought you might say your telephone, but you said your energy. So like you said, that's like what drives it all. So where does that come from, dude? And what can you say that might inspire someone who's struggling and they don't have that energy and that mojo and that ambition you do. Any thoughts on that?
Oh boy, 6 minutes, huh? That is a very nuanced, long question, but I'm the king of simplification. So energy still is my number one tool, okay, for sure. And I don't feel good every day. I don't feel good all day, every day, 100% of the time. Like it's not like I feel great for 12 hours in one day. It doesn't work that way. Like I have ups and downs all throughout my day, like everyone else. But where the drive comes from for me is just being really clear on my selfish why. So when I say selfish why, okay, I try to teach this to my loan officers. I did this exercise yesterday with them, so it's fresh. Is I say, hey, I want you to share with me your why, like why you're doing all this, but you can't say things like my family, you can't say my kids, my wife, to provide a great life. You can't use any of that. Let's get all that crap gone. Let's talk about the selfish why. It's okay, because we all have both, right? So for me, my selfish why right now is a few different things. Number one is that I've finally just accepted that I just like to win. I just do. I like to win. I like the feeling of triumph. I like the feeling of closing a deal. I like the feeling of helping another person. And that sometimes is just enough for me to keep going. Second thing is that I truly, truly do believe that our industry is full of crap people with crap advice. And that's not saying that they're bad human beings. Okay. That just means that I think that people don't get great advice and they don't get a great experience. And I want to give people unbelievably good advice. Okay, it's my tagline, right? Like good people deserve great advice. It's my little thing that I've shared before that I keep right by my phone that I look at when I don't want to pick up that damn phone, that just states that I want to impact and improve the lives of others through responsible home ownership, because I believe good people deserve great advice. Creating these little motivations is extremely important. And guess what? Money. I want to be filthy, stinking rich. I just do. And not because I think it makes me better as a human. It doesn't make me more valuable. It's not a self-worth thing. I just think it would be really cool to be able to take a private plane someday. I can't right now, but I think that that would be awesome. So that comes with a lifestyle that you want to create. And if I don't help a lot of people and I don't give great advice and I don't make millions of dollars and I don't give away hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and I don't impact giant communities, I can't ride on a private plane. And I want to do that someday. I've never done it and I want to do it. So you have to have selfish goals as well as selfless goals, and it's okay. And that's enough for me, man. When I look at my 5-year vision tracker that's sitting right here with all my goals on it, saying that I want to have $10 million in the bank and I want to have all this stuff, that's enough, but it has to be visual. I have all this crazy crap all over my desk. It's a mess, but it's all full of stuff that I want to do and that I want to accomplish, and no one's going to do it for you. They're just not. So you are going to have to find some way to either stop feeling the pain that you feel or start seeking the pleasure that you want. My favorite combination is both, because I'm Italian Catholic and my wife's Jewish. So I do good with guilt and shame and not feeling great in pain, and I do great with the Italian side of me that wants to go have a great time and be crazy and wants to have a lot of money and fun. And so I think finding that action and goals and accomplishment will fulfill the relief of pain and the feeling of pleasure, that's enough for me.
Wow. So, Mortgage Coach marketing team, we're going to edit that and put that whole riff on Instagram, IGTV, so people can just listen to it over and over and over to get motivated. Jeremy Forcier Mojo. Also, it's going to be fun for those of you that want to join us for our special site visit in February. We're going to talk about more of that on Tuesday, so come check it out on Tuesday. We'll be giving you a link to get more of that. Michele, I'm not going to put you on the spot to follow that and try to fit it in a minute or two. But Michele, here's what I want to do. I want to next Friday. Are you going to be on the call next Friday? Can you do next Friday's call?
I will be on the call next Friday. Yes.
You will or you won't?
I will.
Okay, so let's start off with your answer to that question. and then let's talk about how to get more non-QM business. And I want to paraphrase this for the whole mortgage coach community. It's not like non-QM business. It's let's help families get into homes that it's not so straightforward. They're not just cookie cutter. Here are my tax returns. This is what I qualify. Let's do a whole call on transformational experiences and how your why, what drives you, and how using non-QM products we can help more families get the home that they want. Are you cool with that, Michelle?
Perfect with it.
All right, guys. So I hope this is not the last time we see your sister, Melissa. What's up, Melissa? You killed it, and keep tracking those results. And I look forward to hearing your success story throughout the year this year. Guys, this call is a wrap. If you liked it, like it, comment, share it with your mortgage friends. It will be live in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. If there's someone you want to make sure I interview this year, if you are someone you want to make sure I interview, let me know in comments down below. Have an awesome weekend. This call is a wrap. Take care, y'all.